you. You thought I didn't see you now, didn't you? You tried to sneak by me now, didn't you? Now give me what you promised me. Give it here. Come on. God. Hey, it goes all right, y'all.
Welcome to Freewater Experience. I want to tell you a hunting story just from the other day. I was up in my tree stand, and as the evening was progressing, I watched a buck start working his way in. I was getting very excited because he's coming down the trail, and he was heading right for where my bait pile had been. Now, up to this point in the fall, the bucks and all the deer had been coming in to kind of scent around a little bit, but mostly to check out the bait pile, the salt lick, and things that I've got at my stand. But this buck, he got about 50 yards away, and when he did, all of a sudden, put his nose straight to the ground and did a 180 and took off into the woods the other way with following the scent of some doe. That was my key to let me know things are changing in the fall. The rut is on its way. Bucks are now following their noses instead of their stomachs. So today what I want to go through is how to take advantage of that. We're going to learn how to set up a fake scrape. In case you're unfamiliar with what a scrape is, when deer are mating in the fall, the bucks will come along, and what they do, they pick a spot and they'll scrape off, they'll clear the leaves and litter off the forest, and they'll leave a bare spot in the dirt. And it's just going to be a spot about the size, I'd compare it to a large pizza, okay? What they'll do is they'll visit the spot and they'll urinate right in the center of it, and that kind of leaves their calling card. As does come through, does will find that spot and they'll urinate on it, and that's kind of leaving their calling card. From there, the bucks and does will continue meeting the spot until they hook up and then they can mate. It's also a way that bucks mark their territory. So a larger buck will come through and the dominant buck's going to make a bunch of scrapes. One way to get deer really upset is to set up some fake scrapes in their area. That lets the dominant buck know that there's another buck muscling in on his ladies. If you do that, that'll get the buck more active. He'll be more likely to visit those fake scrapes, and you can bring him right into the spot that you're hunting. Another characteristic of a fake scrape is a licking branch, and I'm going to show you. This is a scrape right here on the ground, and right above it you've got a leaf. This is their licking leaf right there. It's about 4 feet above the spot, and you can tell this one has been used because the leaf is a little chewed on. Sometimes they'll lick it or they'll rub their eyes on it, and they have a gland right above their eyes, and that's how they can mark this leaf. That's another way that they just let other deer know who they are and that they're in the area. So when we make a fake scrape, we're looking for two things. We're looking for a licking branch that's about 3 to 4 feet off the ground, and we're looking for a good spot on the ground to clear out. Once we've got that, we can pick our spot and start making our scrape. Okay, as we get ready to set up our scrape, there's basically 4 things that I want to bring into the woods with me. The first is I want a good cover scent. This is usually any kind of scent that basically blocks people's scent. I like this one. It's called Scent Killer 99%. This works really well. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to spray it on the bottom of my shoes, or I'm going to wear some good rubber boots that I wear when I'm hunting. And I want to kill my scent. When we're working with creating a scent spot, we're playing on a deer's sense of smell. And I don't want to leave any people smell that he can pick up. I'm encouraging him to smell harder because I'm leaving scents that are attractive to him. And I've watched them do things like come in and then he'll smell my hands on my trail cam because I didn't spray my trail cam. And so they're picky. We want to cover our bases. So I'm going to take a scent killer and I'm going to use this on my feet and a little bit on my hands if I need to. The second thing I want is what they call a broad range scent. This is like a deer lick scent. This is something that you would spray on the branches above the scrape. Deer will often lick it or they'll wipe their eye on there, and that gets a scent onto the branch. We want to mimic that. This can also be used on the scrape itself. It's a general deer scent, and I've watched deer literally come up, smell this, and then lick to leave their sign on it too. This particular one is one by Tinks, but there are many on the market, and they're all real good. The third thing I want to bring in the woods, I want to bring a doe urine. I want to actually leave a doe scent on that scrape of a doe in heat that says, I'm ready to go, man. So we want to play on that buck's desire to mate. We don't just want to leave the general scent. We'll spray that on the scrape and on the branch. This, just a few drops right in the center of the scrape. This lets them know, hey, there's a doe and she's ready to go. And the last thing I'm going to bring in the woods, and this is going to sound funny, I'm just taking a stick. I want to use this to make the scrape. This is going to be my deer hoof when I'm scraping the leaves out of the way. The other thing that's great is when I'm done, I can just pitch it out of the way. So once you've got those things, head on into the woods, pick a good spot, and get going. As I look around my hunting spot, not too far from my bait pile and about 22 yards from my stand, I see this pine tree. This pine tree has some nice low-hanging branches right there, about 3 feet off the ground, and it's got a nice clear spot on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and set up a fake scrape here. Let me show you how we do that. Okay, we've picked a spot. Now I'm going to show you how we make our scrape. I've got my stick handy, and I've got the spot. It's right underneath that pine tree. So I'm going to take my stick, and I'm just going to start scraping. And I kind of picture a deer taking its hoof and just dragging stuff out of the way. I want to make this stuff about this. This circle needs to be about the size of a large pizza, and I want to scrape, get all the leaf litter so I'm down to basically really light roots and dirt. Later on we're going to put scents on this, and I want to get down to the dirt so that when those scents go on here and the rain comes, the rain will reactivate those scents. I want that to soak into the dirt really well. This is super easy to do. Our scrape is ready. Now we need to apply some scent. Okay, we're at our scrape. We picked our spot. We've cleared the scrape on the ground. Now we're going to apply our first scent. That's the one on the branch and the general scent that you're going to put on the scrape itself. For me, that's this Tink's Power Scrape. This is the one that's going to get the deer attracted to the spot. He's going to smell it in the air and he's going to come and check out the scrape. So let's go ahead and put that on. First we're going to take the overhead branch that's right here, and I'm just going to give a couple quick sprays. That's what they're going to lick, and that's the scent that carries in the air. I'm also going to take this and I'm going to take about 4 sprays on the scrape itself. After that, the next thing I want to do, I want to take my doe scent. I want to take this doe urine and I want to put just a couple drops, maybe about 6 or 8 drops right in the dead center. That's it. Now my scrape's ready to go. I'm going to make sure I'm not touching things with my hands, make sure everything's clear, and I want to get out of the way and let this go to work. Hey, if you've never used fake scrapes, you've really got to give this technique a try. Especially for Michigan in the middle of October into November, it is deadly. The best thing about this technique, it keys in on the biggest bucks in your area, the ones that are dominant, that are trying to mark that territory, and you've got to put these down and watch what happens. I've seen huge buck, the biggest bucks in the area, come in there, and when they smell that scrape and see that another deer is muscling in on them, I've watched them lose their freaking mind. They pound on the ground with their hoofs, they're tearing up branches with their antlers, they're snorting, they're peeing on that thing, and they're just enraged because something's trying to move in on their does. It is a great technique, and it's a trip to watch, and when you get a buck this way, it is so satisfying to realize you've tricked an animal with senses that are so much better than ours, and you've used a technique and gotten past those senses and harvested that animal. That's the best. Hey, from Freewater Experience, best luck in the woods. We hope to see you out there.